Welcome into the Zach Jones Podcast, episode 2. Thank y'all so much for coming back and joining me once again. As you can see today, I'm by myself. Pop's not here today. You know, we had to work, handle business. I actually got my grandma here. She's behind the camera as we speak right now, though, over here with me. So she'll be with us through the course of this episode. Episode 1, a lot of good reviews. A lot of people shared it. Keep doing those things. I got a little something special for you at the end of this episode as well that we're going to discuss. But let's not waste any time. Let's talk about some of the topics. Baltimore Ravens, dominant victory over the Miami Dolphins. They now clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC. I'll talk about them. Dallas Cowboys, were they lucky against the Lions on that 2-point conversion? We'll discuss. The 49ers officially clinched the first seed with, the Eagles just decimating, going downhill, and for themselves getting the win over the Commanders. Also got to talk some college football. Alabama, Michigan. Michigan's headed to the national championship. Undefeated season. Is it a fluke? We'll discuss. And then Michael Penix from Washington. What a game they had against Texas in the Sugar Bowl. They advanced as well. Would you draft him top 5? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it and we'll end with some homework I think you guys just might be excited about. Here we go. Let's get things going right here. All right. Start things off with the Baltimore Ravens. What a victory. What a win over the Miami Dolphins. Let's give you those stats. The Baltimore Ravens won 56-19 over the Miami Dolphins. Let me say it one more time. 56-19 over the Miami Dolphins. Let's give you some of those stats. Lamar, Action Jackson, can he lock up the MVP? Remember last time we talked about it. It was between him, Tua. In my opinion, I thought Christian McCaffrey as well. All right, this is also for our audio listeners. I got the phone going right now. Everybody can join in on this, right? Lamar Jackson was 18 for 21. 321 yards passing, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 passing touchdowns. Who's really doing that? Grandma, who doing that? Not too many. I know, yeah. Not too many people doing that. Tua, not so much on the other end of things. He threw 22 for 38, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And the Baltimore Ravens, another dominant victory. Now, here's the thing. They officially clinched the 1 seed. And he officially clinches that MVP. It's locked up. It's done. He doesn't even have to play the final week of the regular season. Plus, you don't want to get hurt. You have essentially, I guess you can say, for the starters and the guys who won't play, 2 weeks of rest. And that's fair. They should have 2 weeks of rest after earning something as they just did against the Dolphins, who are a really good football team at this point. Really good. But now let's discuss it. I talked last time me and Dad was on here how good this team is. I want to give you just a few more stats on this. 491 total yards, 331 passing yards, 160 rushing yards, 8.9 yards per carry. But this right here is what really stuck out to me, right? Check this out. When you look at the time of possession, 30 minutes. I like to see things like that. You're controlling the clock. You also look at the efficiency on third down, 4 for 7, right? 24 first downs on the day. And what else I have right here? They also went on to force turnovers, having Tua throw 2 interceptions. So it was a great game for them. But this is not the first time we've seen them do this, right? This is something they do. We talked about it last time on here. It doesn't look as impressive as what the 49ers did, but it's starting to take notice. Once they beat the bullies up, the 49ers, then you start to take a little bit more notice, as you should. The Ravens are legit, y'all. I'm telling you this. The additions, drafting Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham is not what he once was, but my goodness, is he good enough? He is, to give you a couple catches a game to get you in position to go score. He is. We talk about Devin Duvernay stepping in, Gus Edwards. This is a team also that's resilient. Let's think about it. J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles within the first, 2-3 weeks of the season. Keith Mitchell, the firecracker, the running back at the backfield. He tore his ACL against the Jaguars. They're running with Gus Edwards. Hill. You know what? Hill. Oh, my goodness. The game he had. Justice Hill, 3 carries, 48 yards. But you should have seen the impact he had returning footballs, everything. He was all over the place. He was everywhere for the Ravens. And it's those type of efforts all year, all season long, you beating the best of the best so far. Give this team that respect and also give Lamar that MVP. He's become laser focused on sitting in the pocket. He's so comfortable. I remember looking at it. It was one play, I think it was a third down against the Dolphins. He had the opportunity to exit stage left, right? Because normally, the old Lamar would have done that. 2019 Lamar would have done that. He sat in the pocket, right? The rushers wanted him to take off, right? He didn't really want him to take off. He sat in there, delivered a football, first down. The patience he has. They asked me, oh, can he stand the duration of a whole season? Yes! He just did it! He just did it. The entire duration of the season, he's clinched the number 1 seed. We have to give this man his respect at some point. And I'm going to give it to him now. I gave it to him last week talking about it, but it is amazing. It's impressive. It looks like they could be headed for a Super Bowl. And if that's the case, I won't be really proud of it. I won't be really proud. They're legit. They make sense, this team right here. And I'm also loving this defense. Humphreys, in and out the lineup injury. Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith. We can't talk enough about the addition that was. We can't talk enough about the addition of Kyle Van Noy, I believe. That's huge for this team. And this Baltimore Ravens defense, what it's been built off since I've known the Ravens, was defense. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, those type of guys. And they still carry that. To them, it ain't got to look pretty. What did Patrick Queen say? Don't quote me on this, but I believe it's something like a lot of people want to play basketball on grass and look pretty. We ain't trying to do all that. We're just trying to get it done. And that's what they're going to do. And they've gotten it done all season long. I did it last time, but I'm going to do it again. 56-19, they beat the Dolphins. They beat the Bullies, the 49ers, 33-19. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Remember, Trevor Lawrence, franchise QB, on Sunday Night Football. They beat them 23-7. What? The Detroit Lions, the beating they gave them. Let's give credit where it's due. We got to. Baltimore Ravens are legit. And I believe coming out the AFC, knowing what the Chiefs look like this year, I'm thinking it could be their time. People talk about the record Lamar has in the postseason. I don't care. I don't care. Everybody knows it takes a little bit of luck, and you got to have a great team, of course, to go to a Super Bowl. It looks like they have. Joe Burrow, he's out for the season. That's not happening. Oh, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Towards Achilles 4 plays in. I'm sure he'll come back strong next year. But that's not happening. Patrick Mahomes, you've seen him with your own eyes. The Chiefs do not look the same. They don't. So we talk about these gauntlet of quarterbacks. Oh, I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson from the Browns. He's out for the season. Justin Herbert, Chargers. He's out for the season. So whatever you want to call it, I like the route they have to go to the Super Bowl. So I don't care about what happened in past years. Lamar is older. This team is different. He's a way better player now. Smarter, a whole lot. He let the game come to him now. Let's give appreciation to Lamar Action Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait to watch it. All right, let's keep things going. Detroit Lions took on the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday Night Football. We had a nice matchup. Normally Monday Night Football, but it was a special and everything with the New Year's Day coming. Oh, Happy New Year's. I didn't even say that to start the show. Happy New Year's. All right, now let's get into this. Dallas Cowboys defeated the Detroit Lions 20-19. And I could jot off some stats, right? I'll do that. Jared Goff didn't play his best game. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Run game for those guys, Dave Montgomery, 14 carries, 65 yards. Touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, 43 yards. Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 26-38, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns. Interception, but no run game. But oh my goodness, CeeDee Lamb had himself a night. 13 receptions, 227 yards, 1 touchdown. He won my brother's fantasy championship, which we'll talk about towards the end of the show. But what I want to talk about is that 2-point conversion. The Lions didn't play a really great game. I don't think the Cowboys just played that great. I think the only person that had a great game, I would say, was CeeDee Lamb, as I just jotted off, right? But here's my thing. They go down the field, they score. And at this point, Dan Campbell is like, I'm going for it all. I'm going for 2. I'll be about a point where I can't remember how much time is left in the game. But the play was to a line, which was a brilliant play. They scored a touchdown off, the 2-point conversion. They're up by 1 at this point. But then the referee and them said that the lineman wasn't eligible. Now, if you know football, if you don't, linemen normally they're not eligible to go catch a football. But when you are eligible, you go to the referee and you tell the referee, I'm eligible, right? My understanding was Dan Campbell told these referees about this play before the game even got started. That we had something up our sleeve. From my understanding. Bring the phone a little closer. And they run this play. And they get the touchdown off of it, but it's called back. So they have another chance again to do it. They try and run it again. They don't have success on it, right? Not the same play, a different one this time, if I can remember. A lot of people saying, why didn't Dan Campbell just kick it? Now, I get it. After the first time, second, they had 3 tries to get it. That's fair. But I want to discuss the same issues I was talking with my dad about this. We agree to disagree. He says that the lineman should have went out of his way. And I could remember, I went back and watched it. Jared Goff telling the lineman, go tell the referee you're eligible. You're eligible. Go tell him. He goes over there and tell him. He goes with another lineman as well. And a lot of people saying this, well, you got to make sure you tell him, about 2 or 3 of the guys walked over there. 2 or 3 of them walked over there because they were trying to disguise it, from my understanding, from the Cowboys. Had he made himself just that noticeable, because see, the referee going to say you're eligible anyway. But what I saw was the lineman walking to the ref and then the ref running away. So then my question, everybody out there, do you want the lineman to chase the referee down? Because at that point, there's no point in running the play. Because everybody knows you're going to get the ball. Because you said you're eligible. Right? You said you're eligible. You go over there and try to do it. And if you're a ref, you knew this was coming. I know a lot is going on. I know. But your concern is the players on the field. It is. I know a million things are happening. But you're reffing the game that I'm playing in. I'm playing it. Not you. What else are you concerned about? So if you see this big 6'5", 350-pound man walking over to you, then what are you going to do? Oh, what's up? Because he's not coming at you saying, he got a boo-boo or his finger hurt. He's not doing that. So you clearly knew something was up after being warned. But, however, Dallas won the game. That's my take on it. Now, we talk about Detroit already wrapped up their division. That's amazing, right? History making for them. Had done it in I don't know so many years, I don't want to lie. But the NFC number 1 seed was still up for grabs. You can't control what the 49ers did, right? But you can try to go win games. Dan Campbell went to go and try and win a game. Now, I will say on the second and third time, I probably wouldn't have tried to go for 2 again. It wasn't the same play anymore, clearly, because they knew it was coming, but they didn't get it. They lose the game. But on a play like that, I respect the refs so much. I really do. But you can't tell me you didn't see that guy coming over to you and you just thought, I don't know what he wants. Really? Come on, man. Yes, I'm an Eagles fan. I know y'all going to say, okay, Cowboys fight. Say no. But come on. Realistically, you knew with him coming over there what was going to take place. And you were warned. You were warned. Is it something that could come back and bite the Cowboys later? Because they're not playing their best football right now. Right? They were getting ready to lose another close game. Remember? And this one's at home. They're so good at home. I think they're like undefeated at home. They are. Last time out, though, they lost to the Miami Dolphins by a couple points, 5 points. So they didn't have much luck in these close games. And they were about to be on the wrong side of it again. Something to just keep your eye on. Now, they probably will take the NFC East since my Eagles collapsed against the Cardinals, and they probably will beat the Commanders, right, coming up on this Sunday. But that's something to keep an eye on. Something I've never seen take place before now. Just my opinion. Let's stay in the NFC. San Francisco 49ers. Remember, last time out they played, it wasn't pretty. Baltimore Ravens, Brock Purdy, 7 interceptions, turned the ball over. This time, we knew the story would be different. They're taking on the Washington Commanders. Brock Purdy, 22 for 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 14 carries for 64 yards. I think he got a little banged up, so he left the game a little early. But Elijah Mitchell came in and finished things off, 17 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, 7 receptions, 114 yards. Amazing season for him. And Deebo Samuel, 5 receptions, 37 yards. Let me get that correct. Yeah, 37 yards. Okay, they picked right back up where they left off. They did. They picked right back up where they left off. Now, and one could sit up there and say they should be in the championship when it's all said and done. They should. When it's all said and done, they should be in the championship. And what happened against the Ravens, well, that's an AFC team. It is. That's an AFC team. But let's look at the landscape of the NFC. Because we're going to talk playoffs. right? We're going to talk a little playoffs. Let's look at who some of the teams they would have to face. My Eagles. Don't even get me started there right now. No. The Cowboys, who I just said, in close ball games, I do not get it done. So let's really look at who they have to go against. Like I said, my Eagles, we're not that hot. You know the story of us. Cowboys, they lost a close one to Miami. They probably should have lost one to Detroit, and that one was at home. All right? That's the dilemma in which we talk about the Niners' path. So a lot of us putting them in the situation. Brock Purdy stays healthy through this postseason. They should be in championship game. They really should. Could it be their time to go all the way? Defensively, they still look good as well. You talk about you gave them 10 points. Washington Commanders are not. That's the offense. Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson. You got Eric Bieniemy over there calling the plays. They gave up just 10 points. So they're right back on track as well. So you can say they should have a cakewalk. Because I know I said earlier with Lamar, but it's looking like we know who these teams are now, right? We know. We know at this point who the Niners are. I'm more interested to see how they handle business when it comes down to the Ravens. That's really going to be the story of this podcast going forward. That's going to be a great matchup. I don't think it will look the same way it did before. But we look at the season that the Niners have had, 12-4 on the year, just dominating teams left and right, handling business like they do. You keep Brock Purdy healthy, Trent Williams, the left tackle healthy, Christian McCaffrey, who's been playing like the MVP, but it's Lamar's now. Make no mistake, it's Lamar's. So you're going to sit all your players, week 18, I believe it is, final week. Makes sense. You're an older team. George Kittle, Debo, IU, Fred Warner. You sit those guys. You sit them. But what I also want to tell you before we move forward, shouldn't there be some pressure on the 49ers? And I'll tell you why. Pressure because we talk about Lamar's record in the playoffs. Let's talk about the 49ers. Yeah, they got to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo. I remember that. They didn't get it done. Kyle Shanahan has been there for quite some time. But a lot of great guys. And have not gotten it done. Injury here, injury there. But it hadn't happened. So I feel like it should be some pressure. Because here's the thing. It's gonna go through Levi Stadium, the road to the championship, against the Niners as far as the NFC teams. So the pressure is on the Niners to get it done. My Eagles, we're not favored to win a championship. We're probably not even favored to get past the first round, not even win our division, as you can see. The pressure is on them. You played so well. Can you repeat that same success for the 2 or 3 rounds? Because it's any given Sunday. This is the one thing you gotta love about football. It's any given Sunday. So hopefully it's not injuries that get them, honestly. But you have to think about this too. You're playing teams that are going to completely sell out to beat you. Think about it. The Cowboys, we know the pressure comes with that. They're going to sell out to beat you. The Eagles, we got nothing else to lose at this point, right? We're going to sell out to beat you. The Lions, they just showed you they're going to sell out to beat you. They just showed it. Okay. Think the Niners will get there? I think they'll get it done? But we have to see. That's all I'm going to say. We have to see. And there should be some pressure on them. It should be. It needs to be. That's the only way it's going to make sense like that. Can they play their best football in those playoffs right there? Because last I checked, the last Super Bowl Shanahan went to was against the Chiefs some years ago. I was still in college at the time. I remember watching it. Hadn't been back there since. So pressure is on the 49ers. But maybe this time, the way the team looks, maybe they can. Maybe they can't. We'll find out. Let's go to college. It's the first time talking about college. How about the college football playoffs? Whew. Alabama Crimson Tide took on the Michigan Wolverines, and what was a great game. It was the Rose Bowl, actually. And we were in store for a great one. We really were. Rose Bowl always is. In this game, Michigan Wolverines pulled it out in overtime, 27-20. Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, 17 for 27, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns. Blake Corum, 19 carries, 83 yards on the ground. And Roman Wilson leading the receivers with 4 receptions, 73 yards, and a touchdown. For Bama, that brings their season to an end. Jalen Milroe, 116 yards, no touchdowns. 21 carries with 63 yards. Has Michigan taken over college football? Well, let's see. They're undefeated. They've dominated Ohio State for the last 2 or 3 years. Right? Sorry, Ohio State fans, they just have. Harbaugh has went through all this the course of the season. They made this me against the world type mentality. That's what they've done. Although they brought a lot of interceptions. I'll leave it there. But as of right now, yeah. As of right now, this team, they've taken over. They look really good. The big question was last year, could they get it done in big games? TCU fumbling the ball like the 2-yard line, stuff like that. Could you get it done? J.J. McCarthy started the game off like a pick. The guy was out of bounds, but he played a really good game from that point going forward, pretty much. You can say Bama let them back in the game. Bama ran that QB power 4th and goal in overtime. I didn't like the play call neither. Because if I knew he was running, I remember looking at my dad and saying he's running. Like, yeah, if I knew it, Bama knows it. The crowd knows it. Michigan definitely knew it. Come on. But I still think Jalen Milroe will get even better next year and be a Heisman candidate. But right now, Michigan, I got to give credit when due. I did not like how they, like I said, make everything like we're all going against them. When most of the stuff that took place, they brought it on themselves. Harbaugh is a really great coach. He is. I think after this season, he's going to the NFL. But why not? I think he's headed back there. As far as the state of the program goes right now, everything they're doing is exciting stuff. So it does feel like they will win the national championship. And I got to give credit where it's due. Signs stealing, offensive coordinator stepping in, coaching suspensions. They found a way through all of it. But I give credit to that team more so than anything. I've always told when I played football, with the right coach and the right person at the head, you literally run through a wall for them. And that is true. It applies. If you really got a guy you believe in, you'll do anything for him. You will. And that's how this team feels about Coach Harbaugh. That's why they are where they are. Me personally, J.J. McCarthy, I don't think he's a starter in the NFL. I think he's coming in, be a good backup, stuff like that. I just don't see it a lot of times with him. But he's perfect for Michigan. They got a great team around. The run game, Blake Corum, the O-line, the receivers, the defense had question marks, but he's got a coach who believes him. So that entire fan base at Michigan does what? Believe in him and embrace the guy. It's crazy what can happen when you embrace somebody. I don't think he has all the intangibles. I don't think, I think a lot of times I watch some of his games, some of the passes, and, it wasn't as smart, but Michigan believes in him. They said he ain't nobody else guy. He's our guy. And that helps him a whole lot embrace the people around. And that's what led to him having 3 touchdowns. Like really 3 touchdowns. It's a confidence. So I give credit to the entire Michigan program on everything they've done this year. Through it all, I had issues with everything, but you've gotten it done. And that right there was one hell of a game. You left it all out there. 4th and goal, you work for moments like that in the off season. When you're doing conditioning sprints, I've been there, and it's like, we're in the full quarter right now, man. 4th and 2, are you going to get that stop? Are you going to score that touchdown? And they were ready for it. They were prepared. So give credit where it due. Congrats to Michigan on a huge win in the Rose Bowl. It was an amazing, amazing game. See, my brother, he's a Bama fan, so he wasn't too happy about it. He'll be on the show at some point. But they got it done. They got it done. So credit to Michigan. Credit to them going to the national championship. But you know who they're going to play in the national championship? Yeah, Washington. That's what they're going to play. They're going to take on Washington because the Washington Huskies defeated the Texas Longhorns in the Sugar Bowl 37-31. Quinn Ewers for Texas had 1 touchdown on the night. Not his best night. Threw the ball about 43 times. But one guy, Michael Penix Jr. I don't know why I looked all over the place right there. Michael Penix Jr. was 29 for 38, 430 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But I want to give you his stats on the course of the year because it was a great win for the Washington. I just want to talk about Michael Penix, though, if that's okay. For this year's stats, first off, the guy's been around. He's been in college for a while. A lot of injuries sustained. So he doesn't move as much anymore, but he moves a little bit more in that game. 4,000 yards, 4,640 yards, 35 touchdowns in the season, 9 interceptions. I've watched this guy play, and I know people be like, I don't agree with this, but to me, he reminds me of Tua. I said it. He can move better than Tua, but it's his ball placement. That's what's going to get him drafted. And the question is, I want to pose to y'all, would you take Michael Penix top 5? I don't know. I think it's very possible to take him top 5. Clearly, you got Caleb Williams that you're going to take number 1. I'm not that high on Drake May personally. I've seen his game, but, when I think of a franchise quarterback at another level, I'm not comparing him to Caleb Williams, but if you're in that top 5 spot, you got to do something special. And I can make the case that Michael Penix does something special. Accuracy. His ball placement. He's been doing this all year, right? He did it against USC, done it against some of the absolute best teams, I feel like, in college football. I don't care about conference right now. He got it done. Did it against Oregon, I believe, actually. I think, they got it done. I want to double check myself. So anybody saying, oh, yeah, they did it against Oregon. It was a tight one, 34-31. They did it against, like I said, USC. Handle business. My goodness, 52-42. So when we talk about this, wait. Did it against Oregon twice. October 14th, they beat them. Then they beat them again December 1st in the Pac-12 championship. Here's my thing. I think you can take this guy top 5. I think you can. For the simple reason I just talked about with J.J. McCarthy. Now, I don't think he's a top 5 guy. But watch this. You know how I compare him to Michael Penix to Tua? This is why. Look at Mike McDaniel. Before Mike McDaniel made it to Miami, what were we saying? Oh, Tua's a bust. Tua's this. He's not good. He had Brian Flores, the defensive guy. Nothing against Brian Flores. Then Mike McDaniel comes in. Hold on. Let me focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. We can bring those along. But he saw Tua and said, listen, you got talent. It wasn't being used the right way. We can fix that. But not only did he do that, he surrounded him with pieces. How about making a blockbuster trade and getting Tyreek Hill? What? Jalen Waddle's here. What? Raheem Mostert's here. What? That's what I'm talking about. You look at one of these teams that's in the top 5 slot. Franchise quarterback is everything. Right now, off the top of my head, I know the Bears have the first overall pick, right? I think the Commanders are in there. The Patriots are in there. I don't know if the Raiders are in there. I'm not sure. Y'all correct me down in the comments. But yeah, he can be taken top 5. And then you figure it out. But you got to find the right guy to piece it around. That's what you need. There's not too many Mike McDaniels, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVays walking around. But there are some around there that can look at Michael Penix and say, hey, I want you. And I get it scary for a lot of scouts. The injuries. I thought Tua broke his hip at Alabama. Right? Y'all remember that? I thought Tua last year. And I'm so glad that he's good. Like, yes. Tua had like 2 or 3 concussions last year. It was really scary to watch. Remember the one he got up, he was wobbly and stuff. Had another one where it's so bad that his fingers started sticking up a certain. Remember that? We were like, he shouldn't play football anymore. So injuries, yeah. Michael Penix has had some injuries. He looks healthy this year. You take this guy, top 5, and it ain't going to happen right away. He's going to show you flash, and you put the pieces around him. And look what's happened with the Miami Dolphins now. It's a playoff team, right? I truthfully feel like they're going to win that division. And Tua looks really good, so good that we were talking about him in the MVP conversation. It can be done. It requires great coaching that believes in that guy. It requires a great GM to put the pieces around that guy and a great team who understands we ain't going to let our guy get touched no matter what. Because if you let Michael Penix sit back there and make plays and pick through a defense, he can do that. He's already shown it to me. If he ain't running, he ain't mobile, his ball placement is there. So that's enough for me to take him top 5. That's just what it comes down to. Not only that, my thing is always this. I know people, I want a big, strong quarterback. I discussed this with my brother. Can you put the ball where it needs to be? Yes or no? Some of the biggest guys can't do that. Is your accuracy on point? Can you make all the throws? And if you answer those questions, you don't have any issues. Michael Penix, take him top 5. All right, let's wrap things up. And things. It's been a great show so far. Thank y'all for tuning in and checking it out. But we got something to talk about. Now you see this big gold thing right here. No, I'm not the WWE champion. Matter of fact, I didn't even win this. He'll be on, like I said, at some point, hopefully sooner than later. My brother DJ in our fantasy league won the fantasy championship. We clap it up for that. I hope y'all clap it. Yeah, there you go, Grandma. Clap up for him too. The thing about it is, man, he had a great season. And I'm kind of proud of him. I'm proud of everybody that's in our league. It's an amazing league. It was so competitive this year. Probably the most competitive I've ever had. Before, earlier years and years ago, I won like 2 fantasy championships. This is his first one. I think the first, and I beat him in both of those actually. I know he's going to hate me saying this. The first time I think it was when Kamara scored 6 touchdowns on Christmas. And the other one, I think Saquon went off for like 40 points. But it was his time. And last year, he had such bad luck with quarterbacks, he wasn't able to win a game. But this year, he got the first round bye. And then, it came down to him and Justin Bailey. And it was a great matchup. But DJ, he had CeeDee Lamb, he had A.J. Brown to have a great game. But Kyron Williams, Christian McCaffrey. So he played his cards right this year. So congratulations to him on winning this fantasy championship right here. Amazing stuff for him. Now, let's get that out the table. This thing is heavy, too. It's really heavy. I'm going to have wrestlers do it. Now, I haven't got that out the way. Let's finish up with some homework here. Like I said, we're going to talk about it. And listen, this is clearly something we talk about sports on, right? But this is also Zach outside the studio. All right, for those who don't know, I am the sports director at WBBJ Jackson, right? And I absolutely love my job and everything. We actually talk about some local stuff here at some point. We really will. But this is Zach outside the studio as well. So, the thing about it is, I'm going to allow you to get in on this. Starting on next week's podcast, I will promote this on my Instagram. I will promote this on both my Instagrams. One is WBBJ Zach Jones, and the other is KidZach_sounds. All right, it's a long story. Don't worry about that. Okay, we can talk about different stuff. We can talk about personal stuff and like that. Can't get too personal. But I'm giving you the option to send me in questions. What do you want me to answer? And we can answer them here in the show. And we can elaborate a little bit in the show. And if enough, we can become a topic in the show. But we're in the show and things like that and discussing them. That sound good? Because I hear a lot of people say, Zach, you do your thing in sports, and I really appreciate it, and I love it, and I only want to grow and get better. But I think people also want to hear something else, too. So whatever it is, you may call in one day, DM me one day, maybe it's relationship advice. Maybe it's just where you are, like maybe it's business, anything like that. Let's discuss those things. They're important as well, and I'm so excited. That's why I'm so happy right now for this platform. Do not hesitate. Send me questions. I will also be promoting it on my Instagrams as well as my Twitter, which is also at WBJ Zach Jones. Look me up on there as well, and I'll be putting all those out there just to promote it as we go. Send me those questions. I'll decide. I'll pick a couple of questions, and we'll talk on it. We'll elaborate, and hopefully next time I have my brother with me, I have my dad with me, or another guest. I got to keep you on your toes. Thank y'all so much for another wonderful episode. Have a happy new year. Y'all have a great one.